Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest online event here at the University of California, Merced. My name is Ricky Hill. I am the e-recruiter here at UC Merced. A huge welcome to you tonight. We appreciate you taking some time out of your evening to join us for this event that has to do with a transfer student panel. What that means is we are fully staffed behind the scenes with expert panelists, but also at the end, you get a very special treat tonight. We will have transfer student panelists. So you will get to have an exclusive few minutes with them for a live question and answer session. Before we get started, let me give you a couple of quick tips. If you need to adjust your audio settings, you can do that in the lower left corner of your screen. If you would like to adjust the size of your window, click on View Options in the upper portion of your screen. Lastly, and most importantly, I mentioned that live question and answer session at the end of our program. Take full advantage of that Q&A button that you should see on your screen. Click on that button, send us your questions, and we will get to those during that live session. Definitely pay close attention to the presentation as we do proceed, but just keep in mind you will have that exclusive opportunity at the end to hear from transfer students at UC Merced. Once again, my name is Ricky Hill. A great pleasure to be with you tonight. At this time, I'd like to hand things over to my colleague, Marceni.
Thank you, Ricky. Welcome, everyone. My name is Marceni Martinez, and I am the Admissions Transfer Advisor for the Northern Central Valley region at UC Merced. I work with community college students from Modesto to Sacramento area. And a fun fact about me is that I was a transfer student from Modesto Junior College. I will now pass it on to Nancy so she can introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nancy Olin. I am the transfer advisor for the South Central Valley here at the Office of Admissions. I'm also a UC Merced alumni from the class of 2021. I'm also a transfer student from Merced College, and I was a student ambassador before, and that's what brought me to continue to advise students and help students to transition to a four-year institution. So we're going to get started with the presentation. This is UC Merced Campus Highlights. So for the first slide, we're going to go over some of the rankings that UC Merced has grown to get over the past years. So we opened in 2005. Since we are the newest UC, we have ranked in the top 100, top 40, top 10 even within different categories. So we are number 4 for creating social mobility for our students, as well as number 17 for the best public undergraduate teaching. Number 8 for the economic diversity of our undergraduate population. We are the fastest growing public research university in the nation. So I'll give you a moment to look over these rankings. On the next slide, this is some of the reasons why some of our students chose to go to UC Merced. So we are accepting in a friendly campus. We have our student success support, as well as our undergraduate research opportunities. With these research opportunities, we have new cutting edge technology, as well as over 200 clubs and organizations, daily campus events, and another bonus, we are close to Yosemite. It includes free transit as well. I know a lot of students will go over for a weekend with their friends to just hike. Sometimes we have events. There's theaters that put on a show for like the theater club in Yosemite as well. And we have free events on there as well. With those events, we've had our own version of Coachella, which we have celebrities come in and perform for us. There's activities, there's food vendors. We also have Capsterical, which is another celebrity that will come and perform as well. So throughout the semester, we have events going on for our students. On the next slide is our student population. So 99% of UC Merced students are from California, 30% are from Northern California, 26% from the Central Valley, and 40% from Southern California. We now have a total of a little over 9,000 students, with a little over 8,000 undergraduate students and 772 graduate students. 71% of our transfer and undergraduate students are first generation, which is incredible. Just like many of you, we are all first generation, continuing our education for our bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs. On the next slide is living on campus. As a transfer student, you are guaranteed a one-year housing on campus. We have our safe community, so we have our on-call police. We also have our emergency blue lights and UCM alert. So if you ever have a chance to visit our campus, we have blue poles all throughout the campus. If you ever feel unsafe or if you have a late class, like I have in the past when I was a student, I would come out from a lab or a discussion at like 8 p.m. And I wanted to be walked to the bus or the car. I just press the blue button and the UC campus police would walk you over to your car, or they'll even take you in the campus cop cars as well. So UC Merced has been said to be pretty safe. I, as a student, felt really safe on campus as well. And then if you want more information on our housing, you can go on our website at housing.ucmerced.edu. On the next slide, as I mentioned previously, we have over 200 clubs and organizations. So there is something for you. We have organizations from social justice, student government, activities and events, women's programs, fraternity and sororities, LGBTQ plus initiatives, our business centers. So we have something for every student, but if there is something that isn't already here, you're more than welcome to make your own club. You just need a few friends and an advisor to create the club. And how cool would it be for you to say that I was the founder of this club, or I was the president of this club, and that club to continue years after that. On the next slide, we have all of our undergraduate majors. So UC Merced has 3 schools. We have the School of Engineering, the School of Natural Sciences, and the School of Social Sciences, Humanities, and Arts. We have 27 majors and 29 degrees. Electrical engineering will be opening within the next few years. We also have our writing studies that is new. And as transfer students, we also have our undeclared program. UC Merced is the only UC to offer an undergraduate program to come in as well. So if you don't know or you are in between majors, you can come in as undeclared and then later choose a major. Going on with the majors, on the next slide, we have our research facilities. So UC Merced has over 18 research facilities, institutes, and centers. MESAS is our NASA-affiliated research center. Its mission is to utilize UC Merced's strong based research program to help develop high-quality workers for our STEM fields. So UC Merced is the only UC that also has an affiliation with NASA. I don't know if you guys heard, but in 2020, some of our students and professors helped build the 2020 Mars rover that is still up in Mars, which is a pretty cool fact for us. So with that, like I had mentioned before, UC Merced is heavy in research. We also have UROC. On the next slide, I'll go over it a little more. But we have our research center as well. So our transfer students are more than welcome to do research with our professors. Another tip that I like to give for our students, as a previous student myself, I talk to my professors as many of my other classmates have in the past, and you just talk to your professor while they're doing research. One of my years, I did research with my professor counting pebbles, but that was his research that he wanted to do, and I was able to participate in that. There have been other of my friends as well that have gone and continue to do research with the professors. So I would just recommend talking to your professor, to your TAs, if research is something that you're really interested in, and if it's something in the field that you like to go into. On the next slide, we have all of our student support services as well as our campus resources. So as a transfer student, you have the transfer, returning, and veteran center. So for TRV, there is a lounge specific to TRV. So if you don't want to go into the library or have a few minutes in between classes and want to just relax, you can go into the TRV lounge. They have a pretty big lounge in there for you to do homework, relax with your friends. They have snacks in there as well. So that's all just for TRV. And I also found out that they bring in puppies and kittens every month just to kind of ease the stress from our students from finals or midterms. So that's also a pretty cool fact. Like I mentioned, we have UROC, which is our Undergraduate Research Opportunity Center. So if you are a transfer student and really want to go into research, I highly recommend for you to apply as soon as you're admitted or enrolled to UC Merced. That way you can view the different options that you have and see which ones you would like to go into. We have our Field Lux program, our Guardian Scholars, and our undocumented program as well for our students. We have our Plus and our Student Success Mentor program. So for our students, I know sometimes professors can teach differently as a TA. I know for some of my previous classes when I was a student, it was hard for me to understand the language of a professor. So I would go into the Student Success Mentor program and I would talk to and get tutored from some of the students that have taken the class before and passed with that class. And I was able to better understand the material that way as well. So everyone has a different learning path, but we offer those programs for our students. For our campus resources, mental health is very important for as a student. So we have CAPS and CARE. With that, we have our student health services. So CAPS and CARE are all included in your tuition, so you don't have to pay out of pocket if you would like to get counseling or therapy from one of our counselors. We also have our student accessibility services, as well as our Bobcat Pantry. Our Bobcat Pantry is basically our basic needs here on campus. So you have a certain amount of points that you can go into and grab a bag of food. So if you don't want to go to the grocery store or just on your way out want to grab some food for dinner or for lunch for the next day, you're more than welcome to go into our Bobcat Pantry. On the next slide is preparing for UC Merced. So this is our early transfer opportunity pathways. UC Merced is the only UC that offers an undeclared transfer option for our students, meaning if you're eligible to attend a UC from high school, you can transfer before you have the 60 semester units or the 90 quarter units and complete all of your major preparation. There are 3 pathways within the early transfer opportunity. We have the undeclared pathway of 15 units or less, undeclared pathway of 16 to 29 units, as well as our major pathway. So this all depends if you are undeclared or if you already know what you want to go into. There are 3 pathways for that as well. For more information, you can always go to our website at admissions.ucmerced.edu/early transfer opportunity. On the next slide is our most common transfer pathway for our transfer students, which is the junior level requirement. So this includes the 60 semester units or 90 quarter units of UC transferable credit. You have to earn at least a 2.4 minimum GPA of UC transferable courses. Keep in mind that some majors do require you to have a higher GPA. So I would do some research beforehand to see if your major that you intend to go into requires a higher GPA. Take no more than 14 semester or 21 quarter units of a pass or no pass. Complete the 7 course pattern by the end of the spring term prior to fall enrollment. This includes the 2 English, the 1 math, and then 4 of any of the humanities, social, biological sciences. And then complete the course required courses for your major. All of this information can also be found on Assist, which is a great website for our transfer students in community colleges to look at what courses you need in order for you to transfer. For more information, of course, you can always visit our website at admissions.ucmerced.edu/transfer requirements. On the next slide is our transfer admission guarantee, which is also known as TAG. So UC Merced is one of the 6 participating TAG campuses. With TAG, you can apply to one campus for one major, and you can only apply once. So for this, it's basically a admission guarantee if you meet all of the requirements. Some of the benefits include early notification for your admission to UC Merced, as well as individualized advising on major preparation, GE, or GETSI requirements. As transfer advisors, we're more than happy to help you if this is a pathway that you want to go into. And you can meet with one of us and go over any of the preparation or requirements that you need for your major if you choose to apply through TAG for UC Merced. More information is on our website at admissions.ucmerced.edu, transfer TAG. And then another reminder as well, if you do want to go and apply for TAG, the spring application opens May 1st through the 30th, and the fall application opens on September 1st through the 30th. The next slide is our Transfer Initiative Program, also known as TIP. So the TIP program is basically our mission is to increase the number of eligible transfer ready students in the Central California region through transfer advising. Some of the services that we offer are transfer information. So as a participant, you can be informed of the next steps to transfer to the UCs. Advising, so advisors monitor your academic progress and also develop strategies for a successful transfer. Campus life, you'd be able to get invited to our campus for lectures, overnight programs, and just familiarize yourself with the diversity of the campus and any information that you may need, as well as our transfer application assistance, which provides you with support on the application process, financial aid, and scholarships. I'll now be passing it over to Marceni, who's going to begin our student panel.
Thank you, Nancy. All right. So now let's get started with our student panel. Let's first start with Adeline. Adeline, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Adeline. I'm a 5th-year chemistry and psychology major, and I transferred from Las Positas College to UC Merced the fall of 2020.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to Raul.
Hello, everyone. My name is Raul Ramirez, and I am a transfer student from Merced College. Hometown is Oakland, California, and my major is mechanical engineer. And yeah, I'll pass it on to Jacqueline.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jacqueline. I'm a 4th-year transfer from Modesto Junior College. I transferred to UC Merced in the spring of 2022. My majors are political science and Spanish. My hometown is Turlock, California, and some of the organizations I'm part of on campus are the Pre-Law Society and College Corps.
All right, thank you all. Let's now get started with the Q&A. Let's see what some of the questions we have for tonight are. All right, we have one question here. A student asks, how did you find the transition in course load to be when you transferred from a community college to the university? And how did you get accustomed to it? Any of you guys can answer.
I'll answer it. This being my first semester at UC Merced, I found the course load at first, like I want to say the first week, second week a little bit, different compared to a community college. But over time, you get accustomed to it. You build up I would say a time set that you want to prepare yourself for like each assignment. But yeah, it just depends on the time set and also like how prepared you get between the first week and then the second week and afterwards. You start seeing a pattern, and that same pattern, you start building up upon it. But yeah, overall, that's the transition from a transfer, from a college to university.
Thank you, Raul. Does anyone else want to add to that?
Sure, I'll add on. Just like Raul said, it's definitely a transition. In my situation, I found it very different. The community college environment to a four-year university. But luckily, there was a lot of resources on campus at UC Merced that were able to facilitate the transition, such as the Student First Center, which they help you with financial aid and a lot of other things, and also the advisors. I belong to the School of Social Sciences and Humanities in the Arts, and I've had such a good experience with the advisors advising me what classes to take best and what would fit best with my schedule. So it's also it has to do a lot with timing yourself and preparing yourself for your classes, and definitely setting aside time to study.
Would you like to add on that, Addie?
Yeah, for me, my transition was kind of different. I know from my community college, it's been a while since when I first transferred in 2020. It was during COVID, so everything was online, so the transition was a little rough. However, UC Merced did an excellent job of making sure everything was running smoothly through Zoom, everything like that, and I still was able to excel and succeed while online, and also still use those resources that Raul and Jacqueline have mentioned to benefit my transition to UC Merced.
Awesome, thank you. All right, let's move on to the next question. Why did you choose UC Merced?
I'll go. I chose UC Merced just for the fact that so I moved here back in 2016 in Merced, so I had like an idea of what UC Merced was about. But what really intrigued me was the resources that they come with. A lot of stuff. For example, like as a STEM major, you have a lot of like resources for research and as well like help with homework. That's something I really I use a lot just so I could get a better understanding of the course itself. Like I believe Nancy mentioned it as well perfectly. Sometimes a professor mentions the lecture a little bit different. So once you go in and you talk to like someone that helps you out, for example, a TA or not the resources here in campus, you start seeing it another way and you start understanding the information about the course even more. And then not only that, just following up with your own workload that you have to do. But yeah, overall, that's why I chose UC Merced, was because of the resources that it came with.
Thank you, Raul. Jacqueline, do you want to add to that?
Sure. So I chose UC Merced for various reasons. One of the reasons being the class sizes. In comparison to other UCs in the system, they are quite big in comparison to UC Merced. And at UC Merced, one thing I really enjoy are the class sizes, which are on the smaller side for the most part. There's occasions where I will have a bigger class size where there's over 100 people, but for the most part, it's about 20 to 30 students per class, which is gives me a lot more time to go to your professor for help or to the TA, and the office hours. It's not constant of lines of people, or it's a very quick response. So I really do enjoy that. And another reason is the generous financial aid that UC Merced provides. I was able to attend this university. I never thought I would be able to afford university, especially a four-year university. And it was made possible by, financial aid at UC Merced. So that's another reason why I chose to come here.
Thank you for sharing. Addie, please tell us why you ended up choosing UC Merced.
So I chose UC Merced for some of the same reasons Jacqueline chose, especially the class size for me. I definitely like that more. The professor knows your name. You're not just another student that comes in and out of the classroom. And the TAs are definitely have the smaller discussion classes with you that they definitely get to know the one-on-one or the way you learn, and definitely kind of you benefit from just that more close interaction. I also came to UC Merced just because of the community that UC Merced has. I enjoy the close community, how there's always something going on every day, where there's Wake Up Wednesdays here at UC Merced, where they offer coffee and donuts in the morning that you can grab right before class. Just those community events and things that UC Merced has really drew me to the school and really solidified my decision to come here.
Yeah, thank you all for sharing that. Let's move on to another question. Let's see. What does community mean to you, and where do you find it at UC Merced?
Community to me is like working with the group, building something with the group overall, just, socializing, having a good time with the group of people. And to find it here, UC Merced, it's not that hard, to be honest. I'm actually a prospective member for a fraternity, Omega Delta Phi. So I found that community just by going to Scholars Lane. So it's a section here in campus where, organizations, fraternities, sororities, they come and, they table and they give you information about what they bring to the table and what they, what you could get off of them. And like I mentioned, it's a community, just building up, even going through the process. If many don't know the process of fraternity, there's a process, and that has built my community within the people that are in that organization. So yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, just stepping in and just walking through that lane, you'll see a lot of organizations that come with community, and not only that, more communities outside of the UC Merced itself also. But yeah, overall, that's my definition and how you can find community here at UC Merced.
Community for me definitely has the same meaning that Raul said. It's definitely finding those people that you can kind of call family, or like they're your safe space, they're your home away from home. And being a past member and alum of a social sorority, I definitely found that with the girls that I was partnered with through that process and everything. Like Raul mentioned, you kind of grow those connections, you grow that family, and definitely having that support system away from home and just adding on is just what I see community as, and what has really helped me here at UC Merced.
Community to me is just like how Addie and Raul had mentioned. It's a group of people that are looking for the same goal, the overall ultimate goal. And you can definitely find that in sororities, in fraternities, or even clubs, or even in the classroom itself. It really just depends what you're into, or what's your ultimate goal. But overall, I would say UC Merced in itself is a community, because we're all, for the same goal, which is getting our degrees in our respective majors. So it can be really anything, especially at UC Merced.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and move on to a question that someone had here on the Q&A. Someone asked if there's any age limit for enrollment. And I can go ahead and answer that. There is no age limit for applying to UC. So as long as you are meeting the requirements to apply, you're able to do that. Let's see, another student here asked about housing. So housing is guaranteed for a year for transfer students. And after that, you can still apply to live on campus for an additional year, or for the remaining of your time here. You would still be considered, just that it won't be guaranteed as for your first year after you transferred. All right, let's move on to another question. Let's see. Who can share a little bit about who or what was the most helpful resource to you in helping you get to UC Merced?
I feel like at first it has to be a person itself. For example, me, I had to look for that help to be able to go to the UC. But a person that helped me out a lot throughout this process of transferring was one of the pro staff at the admissions office here at UC Merced. I remember one day, it was like it was not that long ago. It was actually during May. I walked into the Welcome Center, spoke to Juan Roman. He's my supervisor as I work as a tour guide at the campus. I walked in there and I just asked him, hey, like, what's the process of me transferring? He led me to another pro staff at the admissions office as well, Juan Villegas, and then on so far, we went through a whole process, applied, emailed them, and like I mentioned, if as a student, you have to look for that. So for me, I was always sending emails every week, contacting them, making sure that I was in good status to be able to transfer. So yeah, as a person, I would say first you, and then after that, look for those resources to be able to get you to, the UC system. And for me, it was UC Merced.
Thank you, Raul. Let's see, for Addie and Jacqueline, what is the process for a double major once you transfer?
So I can answer that first. So for double transfer, I would say it really depends on your interest, first and foremost. And also, I would say it does require a little bit more work rather than just majoring in one subject and minoring in another, because you do have to meet more requirements, especially if they're vastly different. Also, it really just depends. Some majors may require more work than others, and that's completely fine. But overall, double majoring in itself, it does require a little bit more work. So it really just depends if you're passionate about it and what you want to do with it, and if you're willing to put in the hours for it.
For me, I originally actually minored in my double major. I was originally a chemistry major with a minor in psychology. I then went through the process with my academic advisor to switch that to a double major. And then I have now a double major in chemistry and psychology, but as Jacqueline said, both my majors are completely different. They fall under two different schools. So I am the School of Natural Sciences as well as the School of Social Arts, Social Humanities and Arts. And so there is definitely no class overlap. So there is a lot of extra work. And I will say that for me, it does push me out one semester. So you do have to account for that. Like, do you want to stay a little longer if both of your majors don't line up in the same school? But because I'm passionate about both, I chose to just double major and decide to graduate in the spring of 2024 versus the fall of 2023. But overall, the process isn't too hard to get a double major. You just need to reach certain requirements and just speak with your academic advisor. But overall, the main thing with double majoring is like that time management and being willing to put that work in.
Thank you. Hey, Jacqueline, let me ask you this question. What is the Spanish program and teaching program like?
So I recently did just change my major. I did just transfer as well to UC Merced, but overall I would say it's really great. It does require, the minor and the major do require different amounts of units, but it's pretty much the same. One class I'm in right now, for example, is Spanish 103, which is an upper division. Luckily, I was able to, just skip all those lower division classes because of my AP scores that I took in high school, which was definitely a bonus. So if you do have AP scores in a respective for whichever major, that's completely a plus because those are beneficial. But I would say it really depends. Every semester, there's different courses that they offer depending on the major. But in Spanish, there's another one that I just registered. Registration just happened this week. For next semester, I'm taking a Spanish course that focuses on the language of business and management, specifically in Spanish, and that way it's catered more towards how to speak in a business-like setting rather than just Spanish, which is what we're doing right now in Spanish 103, which is just Spanish composition. And yeah, so it really depends. There's a variety of courses you could take and you can pick from, just as long as they meet the requirements within your major, which is Spanish.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. All right. This is for any of you three. Would you recommend living on campus or off campus your first year as a transfer student? Maybe just share a little bit more about what you ended up doing.
I'll go first. So I never got the chance to live in campus. I actually live out of campus. But overall, I mean, although I didn't take that chance of being a student in campus, I feel like as a transfer student, being your first year or your first semester and first year, I would recommend it just for the fact that I hear a lot of my colleagues, I hear them and they're like, oh, it's fun to be in campus. There's a lot of cool things to do after, you're done with your classes. But yeah, I mean, I would recommend it just for the fact that you're closer to your classes. So you're running late. Obviously, it's easier in access to a class. And also just the connections. As you grow in your career, as you grow in your major, you start making those connections, and being in those dorms, you'll be able to connect with different type of people. And then not only that, you'll be able to connect with everyone in campus. So that will be my recommendation for any transfer student or any first year student. But yeah.
Yeah, just like Raul said, there's definitely an option between going off and on campus. From what I've seen is that on campus there's a lot going on. The RAs make it really fun for you to live in the dorms. There's always something going on. I personally don't live on campus, and that's just because I commute. Luckily, my parents don't live too far away, so I live at home. But there's always something going on campus. Especially for those who live on campus. We do have food trucks pretty much Monday through Friday. There's sometimes we have movie nights. I know like a month ago we had a movie night. We had the Minions, and that was really fun. We also did have recently before Halloween, we did have another movie night, and a lot of people dressed up, and the activities board on campus does make it really fun, and other clubs as well, which that's really great. So there's definitely a lot of pros to living on campus as well as off campus. So it's just really up to what your preference is and what you would prefer.
For me, I chose to live off campus, and I still currently do live off campus. Um, I I'm not sure how I would feel about living on campus. I think it is beneficial, especially like you don't have a commute time or anything like that. You're definitely right there. You're right there with your classes and with your any of your friends you make who you're living in the dorms with. But for me, I really enjoyed just having my own space and like being able to decorate my own room, my own apartment, things like that. So definitely I enjoyed that aspect of living off campus, but you do definitely have to account for the commute time and the differences and possibly living with other people more than just maybe one roommate, two roommate, three roommates. You might need a few to kind of just pay rent every month and stuff like that. I do know.
All right. Okay, keeping that in mind, and now being able to share a little bit more to students that some of you guys live on campus, some off campus. What is there to do in Merced, and maybe share some spots that you like to go to?
Well, I've been here in Merced since 2016, I could say. There's a lot of stuff. Well, many would say there isn't, but there is. Main Street would be one of the most popular spots here in Merced. There's a lot of food places that you could go to. Also movie theaters that we have here. Another good cool thing is like we don't have far away like a bowling alley, which would be something to consider here in Merced. As well, just trying to. Oh, another thing would be like every Thursday of the month, there's a thing called the Mercado in Main Street as well. So it's like a community thing where people get along, different kind of multicultural foods, multicultural music, multicultural people, and connections within the community itself of Merced. So those are a couple of things that I have noticed throughout my time being here in Merced. Some activities that you can do outside of UC Merced itself and in the city of Merced.
Addie or Jacqueline, do you guys have any places you guys like to go to?
So for me, I definitely go to Main Street a lot as well. I know there's one street that also connects to Main Street called Canal. There's a crystal shop there that I go to a lot. Definitely one of those astrological, like, I'm totally got you if you need any questions on crystals or anything like that. But I definitely love going there. I do love going to Little Oven Pizza on Main Street. And definitely you want to make friends. If you don't bring a car, you want to make a friend who has a car, because Merced isn't very far from like Turlock, Fresno, anywhere like that, where there's even more places to visit, even other great things to do. But definitely Merced has its little hidden gems within its city that are definitely really cool to visit and check out.
Okay, we can move on, and maybe I can have any of you three talk a little bit more about your transition from community college and how was that like coming to UC Merced?
Yeah, so I can help answer that. So personally for me, I would say it was a good transition. So like I mentioned before, I transferred from Modesto Junior College. I spent 2 years there, and I they made the transfer really smooth with the help of my advisors there, or how they call them their counselors, and also the transfer center on your community campus is a big factor. They can be very beneficial to making your transfer very smooth to your respective school that you want to attend, and also with the applications as well. The UC applications I know can be very tedious and very long, especially the personal insight questions. So definitely reach out to your advisors, counselors, and your transfer center if you do have one on campus. And also reaching out for my experience, UC Merced was also very helpful, especially the admissions office. They were very generous in helping out and contacting me very frequently. I'm like, hey, have you done this or have you done that? I can help you with this. Also, the Student First Center, just breaking down things like the financial aspects of it, and a lot of other places on campus that were able to help you. So that's also very helpful. And definitely reach out to your community if you need it.
Yeah, just like Jacqueline was mentioning, reaching out to your advisors at your campuses, as well reaching out to the, advisors here at our campus in the FSC Center, Student First Center. Those are great resources to, use here to be able to make your transfer path a little more smooth in other scenarios. Like Jacqueline mentioned, the UC Merced application could be a little bit tedious. So they'll able to help you out with that. Even if you have like, simple questions, any question is, really good, just for the fact that you have to, I would say, know what's going on. So like I mentioned, any question is not a wrong question. It's just something that you want to get, information about. But yeah, overall, a good transition.
Thank you, thank you. So someone else here asked, what is one thing you wish you knew before you started living on campus?
Well, I never lived on campus. I could kind of say one thing I should have known before coming to this campus would be, um, uh,
Or moving to
I feel
Merced
like
if you don't live on campus.
I feel like it was a small city. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good afterwards. I mean, obviously it's a small city, but just it's a small city that you could know so many people. For example, I met the mayor like already like 4 times, and any other city, like for example, me coming from Oakland, I don't really get to see the mayor a lot. The mayor's really like, I guess, untouchable. But here at City of Merced, that's something that's really cool. You get to meet with the mayor. Actually, a good event that I did with them was cleaning the park here, Fairness Park. It's nearby here at UC Merced, and I got to meet him there for my first time, and we got to clean up the park itself. He put his hands on, and that's something that you don't see a lot. A lot of those leaders putting their hands onto the work that they talk about a lot, and not only that, giving out back to the community.
Thank you. Let's see. We have a question here, and I think this one can be guided a little bit more for Jacqueline and Addie. So someone is asking, if you do have two majors that coincide with one another, are they pretty good about overlapping the classes to keep you on track?
I know for me, when I had to submit my application to declare a double major, there is a portion on that application. I'm not sure if that's still exactly how the application works now, but you can only share about 12 units, I believe, between your two majors, classes that overlap between those two majors if they are like the same, say they're the same school, like social sciences. But other than that, it's mainly pretty good to get you can get your classes pretty well organized between each other and kind of stay on track yourself. But I do know you can only share about 12 units between your two majors if they're about the same.
And if maybe you can talk about it a little bit more, like maybe how has that been your experience with having two majors? Has it been difficult at times, or has it just been overall like easy for you?
I can answer this. So it's definitely, like I mentioned before, both Addie and I could probably agree that it does require a little bit more work. Like I said, it also depends on the major. Some majors do require a little bit more work than others. Some require more reading than others. Some require more labs than others. So it really just depends on the individual's majors that they choose to do. It does get difficult at times. I'm going to be honest about that. And it does get to you sometimes, but it's also about time management. So if you're really good at time management, definitely, look into putting aside some time for both majors and not just focusing on one, because keep in mind, you do have to keep a certain GPA to keep both of your double majors, or else it does become a problem, and you have to have that talk. But if you're on top of everything and you're focusing not just on one major but both, which is very important, then you should be set to do double majors.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I'm sure, like you said, at times it gets difficult, but I'm sure once you graduate, you're gonna be super happy that you're done with that and that you have your both majors. Let's move on to another question. What activities does the school offer outside of the class for new transfer students to help them get comfortable with their new social environment?
So I can help answer this one. So just off the top of my head, I can, like I said earlier, we do have movie nights. For transfers, we also do have events for specifically just for transfers. At the TRV Center, there's a lot of, I think today they had a first generation luncheon earlier today, and that was really fun. We also do have puppies on campus today. We actually did have little puppies that are up for adoption, and people get really excited. We also do have the shelter bring cats in, and it really does relax people. You can also, we do have bigger rooms on campus, bigger lecture rooms, which you can reserve with your friends and use the screen to do like a movie night. Or you can, we also do have Coachella. We also do have Treats and Beats, which just passed, which was a couple of days before Halloween. We do have, and a little bit about Treats and Beats is basically like a concert with, we had rides as well, fair type rides. We had food vendors come, and there's also different booths and like carnival games, which is really fun. And I'm sure, someone else can touch more on other activities.
Yeah, just as Jacqueline mentioned, actually before joining this panel, they had the first generation mixer. That's where, first generations like me, for example, or many of y'all as well. It's like a little panel where they, show you everything about first generations, actually give you information about previous first generation people, like Michelle Obama would be a good example. But yeah, I mean, simple things like that for a transfer student like me, I went to that and it makes me be so much more motivated to keep on going and, just progressing in my education. Also, like Treats and Beats is, like Jacqueline mentioned as well, was an event that we had before Halloween. It was like a Halloween theme. But yeah, we brought someone, they did a concert and they had rides, carnivals. I even got to meet new people as well during the time that I was there. So those are like social events that as a student I would recommend. As a transfer student, just so get more socialization going on and just more connections. I can emphasize more, just connections will be the main thing that you do here in campus, besides learning in your classes as well.
Thank you for sharing. All that sounds like so much fun. Let's move on to another question. Here's one. What is your favorite class?
For me, as a mechanical engineer right now, my favorite class would be, well, I have two, I could say. First would be Physics 9. That's a little bit about circuits, a lot about magnetism, electricity. And the second one would be Engineering 91. It's like a panel where they show you a little bit of your career development. As a mechanical engineer, there's a lot of development to go on and grow. So it's a course where they teach you how to do a resume, a professional resume, set goals for your future here in the campus as well. Just little things to go into, like events. There's like events that they give us as lessons to be able to go there, participate, and get information as a student, just so you can benefit you in other ways, like be able to know what to get for scholarships, as well information for your major. I know for other majors, they got the same thing. So those are my two favorite classes as a mechanical engineer at the moment.
I would say one of my favorite classes this semester, I'm taking foreign policy with Professor Kim, and that's really fun because as someone who's really who likes learning about politics, it's really fun and looking at other perspectives around the world. And it's the way he teaches the class is very intuitive and informative. And the class size is really small, is on the smaller side. So there's about 30 to 35 students in the class. But I learned things that I haven't learned anywhere else. And the readings that we do get readings in that class, and they were really fun and informative. But that's one of my classes that I've really enjoyed this semester.
For me, currently, I would say my favorite class right now is Chem 101L. So for this class, we generally do a lot of labs, so it's very hands-on. It's very hands-on in the inorganic and organic chemistry sort of way. So we've been currently turning acetylcyanide to aspirin. So we kind of get to create things like that, things that we use in our daily lives. So it's really interesting to see that process. But I would say overall, my favorite course had to have been Chem 194, which is sort of communications within chemistry, because I got to present on anything I liked that was science related, and I got to really present a presentation on something I really loved and enjoyed. So those would be my favorite classes I've taken here at UC Merced.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. All right, we're coming to the end of our Q&A session, but I think we have room for one more question. Can any of you share tips for time management?
I'll give one tip. Just have everything scheduled. Let's say you go to the gym at a certain time, set that on your schedule. An exam, put all your exams in a schedule just so you can know when to prepare for each exam and be ready. Let's say prior to that week, you'll be like, okay, I got this exam coming up. and it'll show up. I use Google Calendar a lot, so those things show up at a certain time that you want it to. So let's say you have an exam. Let's say I had an exam next week. I can make that schedule tell me, hey, get prepared by this week, so that next week you already just got to do a little bit more learning, a little bit of learning from your part, so that you can be prepared for the exam. But yeah, just like I mentioned, if you got to go to church, put that in the schedule as well. Just any little detail as much as you can, just so you can be focused, and you have timestamps for certain things, and just try not to procrastinate as well. Things will build up, so if you could take that off of one thing that you have as a thing at the moment, try to not do that anymore. Just stop procrastinating. I guess would be the real answer, but overall, yeah, that would be my thing for time management.
All right, let's see. Just one more question. Last question before we wrap up. Can you share some words of wisdom or advice for transfer students before, again, we wrap up tonight's webinar?
Yeah, so one thing I can't emphasize enough, and that I try to tell, other transfer students, is go to your advisors, go to your TAs, go to your professors. They are there to help you. And there's just like this common generalization that, they're too busy. No, they're there to help you. They are eager to help you. There's a reason why they have office hours specifically for the students, the TAs as well. If you're struggling with the class, they are there to help you. And they are the most genuine people. I have had great experiences in my office hours with both the TA and the professor. So definitely use that as your resource, as a tool, because that is going to be your success in your semester and your road here at UC Merced.
Yeah. Oh, Raul, did you want to add something?
Yeah, believe in yourself. Set that in your mind. You could do anything that you set your mind to it, and with that positive mindset, anything's possible. Simple as that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So I would like to thank our student panelists for being on here, and now I'll pass it on to Ricky so she can close us out for tonight.
Thank you so much, Marceni. And what a fantastic panel we had tonight. All of our students, we always value so much what you all have to share with us tonight. Once again, you guys are just knocking it out of the park. Let's go ahead and go over a couple of quick things right before we wrap up tonight. Please grab your smartphone, take a quick snapshot of the screen that you see in front of you. It has our email address, our phone number, our physical address, in case you'd like to come by and take a campus tour. We also have all of our social media channels listed there. TikTok is the newest one to our social media family, and we are about to run a new contest here in the next couple of weeks. So you definitely want to add yourself to that platform so that you can keep that bird's eye view into not only the campus, but also to get yourself some UC Merced swag. So a couple other things that I'd like to share with you tonight. I did mention campus tours. We are offering campus tours 7 days a week. So we've extended those hours, we've extended the days. We would love to have you visit us on campus. We will drop a website into the chat box, and you can go ahead and get yourself registered right away for that. And something else that is a special little thing that we're offering right now, a special program, it's called Experience UC Merced. That program is exclusive from the beginning of November until the 18th. We will drop a website as well into the chat box for that, so you can get yourself signed up. A campus tour is included in that special event. However, you do get much more than that. You actually have an opportunity to visit classrooms, lecture halls, laboratories, and many different subjects. So once you go to that website, you will have that opportunity to get yourself signed up, your date of choice and time of choice based on what subjects and classes you would like to visit. Before we do wrap up, there are a couple of other quick facts I would like to share with you tonight. For 3 consecutive years, UC Merced has been ranked in the top 100 national universities. That ranking is coming from the US News and World Report. We've also been ranked number 13 for economic diversity. We mentioned that earlier on in the presentation, but a bit more information for you for that one. As a Hispanic serving institution, which is also referred to as an HSI, UC Merced has the highest percentage of Pell Grant recipients in the UC system, with 60% of our undergraduates receiving the federal financial aid program for low-income families. So what that means is that you are still receiving a world-class education and quality experience at UC Merced, but at a very affordable cost. So it's definitely within reach and attainable. So we want to make sure that you're filing for financial aid by that priority filing deadline of March 2nd. One other little note I'd like to mention, we are also ranked #1 public university for financial aid awarded to first-year students. We have many more rankings that we shared earlier as well, but we also have a website for that. It is ucmerced.edu/accolades. One last thing, mark your calendars, November 30th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. That is the deadline if you plan on applying for the fall 2023 application period and for that semester. So make sure that you hop over to that website, that you definitely mark UC Merced as your campus of choice. We would love to see you and meet you very soon, either at another upcoming event, at a campus tour, or possibly the UC Merced Experience Program. Thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Ricky Hill. I'm the e-recruiter here at UC Merced. It's been such a pleasure to be with you tonight. Have a wonderful night and we'll see you soon.